All right, actually, just let me give the YouTube people a little bit of time to get in here. Let me just give them a little bit of time to get in here. In the meantime, in between time, how about a little? All right, actually, just let me give the YouTube people a little bit of time to get in. Ooh, this is creepy.
Oh, you just gotta mute the YouTube thing.
Yeah. I just did it. I'm like, oh.
But that's good. It means we're live. It means we're properly
Right.
live.
Let me give the YouTube people a little bit of time. In the meantime,
Hey Amanda, are you sure the live is public? Because I'm on the Smart Funny and Black YouTube page right now and I'm not seeing it pop up.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
it's public.
It's
Okay,
right
got
up
it.
there at the upload. And I just heard myself
Cool.
sounding obnoxious.
So meta. If you're joining us right now, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just do this. Nope, but okay. Zoom. All right. So welcome everybody who's joining us for the Small Doses Forum. We are excited. Today is the first time we're ever doing this. So we don't really know what we're doing, but we're gonna try our best. Running man in the seat, sitting man. Sitting man. Sitting man. We just giving folks a little time to join. We just giving folks a little time to join. So everybody on my live, sorry. Everybody on my Instagram live, you can join us via the link in my Instagram bio at YouTube. Join us at the link in my Instagram bio at YouTube. Oh, shite. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. I'm trying to get my technology together. You know, when you at your mama house, you working with not your regular stuff. The amount of random table surfaces I have right here is impressive. All right. You know, it wouldn't be a small dosage show if we didn't start like this. So funky. What's up, y'all? Welcome to our first ever Small Doses Forum, side effects of uprising. I felt it necessary to do something like this. Of course, you know, this will probably change in the future, who knows, but I'm always trying to figure out how I can use my spaces to create more spaces, to give voice it to folks and to give people the opportunity to speak their minds and to really just sometimes honestly, y'all, sometimes it be just a vent. Like some, you know, and I think I speak for a lot of us when I say that right now, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of rage, there's a lot of frustration. But someone's like, the camera's tilted. Well, you know what? I don't got a crew. It's Amanda. The crew is Amanda on this side, and then we got Brendan and Rebecca on the other side. So we'll get to that. But I just want to, first and foremost, just acknowledge everybody's feelings and let you know that your feelings are valid, unless your feelings are that property and looting is more important than Black lives, in which case your feelings are trash. So just want to tell you that. I want to just invite everybody in here to, you know, let this time be, because I feel like we need to take at least an hour a day in the midst of what's going on. And we should have been doing this before, but we need to take at least an hour a day to try to at least enter a safe space or be at peace. I know this conversation may not bring that for some, but if it does, I'm very thankful and grateful. But I'm trying to be better at saying but and say and. And this is, for those of you who are just joining us, this is Small Doses Forum. I have a podcast called Small Doses. You know, I have a book as well. But I have a podcast called Small Doses. It's been going on for 2.5 years. And Small Doses is a podcast that does its best to approach different topics that are affecting our lives from a range of things, whether it be racist or fuckboys or white women or addiction or being an Oreo or traveling or being an LA transplant. We cover a range, we cover a gamut, and we always attempt to cover it in a way that is thoughtful, that is imaginative, and that is in the pursuit of empowerment and liberation. So in that foundation, it seemed only right that we take the leap to create some other spaces for small doses that give voice to other folks. And that is what this forum is working to be. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while. You know, and this is how ideas happen, right? You have an idea, but then there's always like a bigger force that pushes. So, you know, as much as we have so much negativity going on, I want to thank the universe for creating this silver lining to push to this space for us to have more connectivity and conversation on a high vibration. I'm not even going to read the comments that are going on my live stream. I mean, on my Instagram live, because I know y'all be clowning. So I'm not even going to read what y'all saying over there. But over here, so we've got a YouTube live stream going on. So shout out to everybody who's joining us in the YouTube live stream. For anybody who is on the IG live wants to watch on the YouTube, you can go to my link tree, which is in my Instagram profile, and click on the link and boom, join us. So this happened today, not just because of my own ideating, but because I have an incredible team that seems to always be down for the get down. Like when I'm like, yo, you know what I think we could do? They be like, what? And, you know, so one of those people is my executive assistant, Jana, who is not here, but whenever you see the Asian chick around me that's like got flavor and flyness, that's Jana. So Jana is a part of making this happen. And the names that you have heard for a century, okay, for only 2.5 years, but a century, Rebecca and Brendan. Now they shy, so they don't be liking to show themselves, but I just want them to show themselves for 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds, y'all, just 2 seconds. Rebecca and Brendan, please.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hope y'all
People right
doing
now are
well.
like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you can relieve yourselves.
Okay.
I know you're done.
Bye.
Be well.
Rebecca and Brandon. People are in the live, Rebecca. They're like, Rebecca! Rebecca! Oh, yes, they are white. I know. But you know what? They are allies and they're not jackasses. And they're incredibly thoughtful, responsible people. And I know that you all know that the same way there can be coon ass Black folks, there can be dope ass people who happen to be white. And I appreciate the work that they do on this show with me. I appreciate the conversations that we have in developing these episodes. And I think that it's really important that in the midst of these types of situations going on, it's going to take a lot of white folks to look at themselves as individuals and say, how do I separate myself from this power structure and be a part of toppling it? The same way that it's going to take, men doing that in terms of toppling patriarchy, right? The same way that it's going to take women doing that in terms of toppling, shaming and whatnot. The same way it's going to take just cool folks in general, identifying their corn to say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of the corn matrix. I want to separate myself from the matrix of cornery and make myself, relieve myself of the maize of my personhood. I, among many things, am a very big advocate for shutting down all corny shit of all time. So there's that. So how is today going to work? So for those of you who don't know, I recently launched an app called the SFB Society. SFB Society is, side note, it is so hot in this house. I have no idea what my mom is trying to do. I put on the air conditioning. It's not turning on. You see me in this jumpsuit. And I've said this before, my titties are sweating. There's dripperies happening beneath my titties right now. So I just want you to know that if you see me sweating, it's not because I'm nervous. It's because I'm hot. I'm hot. Okay? I'm hot. I got to catch my breath. I feel like I have to literally just. Okay. It's that hot. I was uncomfortable. Okay. Now, the way today is going to work is I have asked the members of SFB Society to provide us with questions that we will be discussing in this forum. And a number of them have been able to join us here on the forum so that they can ask their questions directly. For those of you who are listeners of Smart Funny, for those of you all who are listeners of Small Doses, we have a segment called DMT. Hold on. DMT, we're serving it. DMT. We're serving it. Just a side note, I was talking to Charlamagne the other night, and I'm not even exaggerating. He was like this on the phone. I was like, "Nigga, trying to blow bubbles in the pool? Like, what are you doing? What is that? Are you drinking soup? What is this? Are you trying to get a potato in the soup without getting the juices of the soup? What's happening?" He said he was drinking ginger tea. Well, this ain't ginger tea, but it is the real tea. And you all have, for years, provided me with incredible questions and insightful thoughts that challenge me to be a greater thinker and that challenge all of us to think of things on other spectrums. And so that's one of the big strongholds I have in where we're at right now as a world and as a nation, considering something better, considering something different. And even if you don't know, you start by considering. And I think so many of us really don't even feel like we have the power or the right to consider something better than what we're being given. We don't think that we have we feel like, how dare I have the audacity to consider a different vision for my existence, for my family, for my personhood, for my relationships, you name it. We think I should just be happy to be here. Fuck all that. No. And when you are contributing to a space, you are contributing to a society, you have every right to be thoughtful about how can this be better, as long as you are being thoughtful about how can this be better for everyone, because you're a part of a group. I hate when people be on the train in New York playing music dumb loud, and they be like, because this is what I want to listen to. Well, baby, then you need to get a car. Because right now we are in a group space, and we need to be thoughtful about how everyone in this group space is going to be able to have the best, nicest train ride across this bridge. And you bumping like I don't know what that was just now. That was kind of like some like reggae hip hop bachata. But after you've had a long day at work, you just may not want to hear that. And you have to be thoughtful about the fact that if you don't have headphones, then you need to play that shit at home. All right, so shout out to my people at SFB Society who have provided us with the questions. We have people that are in the queue waiting to ask their questions. So Brendan, I know that we're just trying to figure out how the workflow of this is going to go. Now, before I had said what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh my God, so much technology. I don't know what to do. I had said that I was going to ask the question, the purple person would come on. But I think the better way to do this is just deal with who's here and let's have them come on and they can ask their question. Or at the very least, if they don't remember their exact question, they can let me know their name and I got it right here. So let's do that. So let's bring the first person up. For those of you who are just joining us, we are Small Doses. Small Doses is my podcast that we've been doing for 2.5 years. This is the first Small Doses forum. And the topic is side effects of uprising. So today's conversation will be related to the ways in which we are all being affected by this uprising, and any thoughts and questions and concerns related to that. I want to do my best to speak to, and I want to do my best to encourage y'all to speak to amongst yourselves. I am in no way presenting myself as an expert. This is just a platform I have, and I think I be knowing some good shit. So fuck it, why not share it? Ba-dum-bum. All right, let's get it popping. Brendan, who's our first person?
All righty. Well, the first person who popped in as a participant was RL. And they were saying
now, do I have to do anything? Do I have to like toggle them or anything?
Oh no,
Is there anything I have to do?
No, you just have to wait for me to be inept. Extremely adept at my job.
I got RL right here.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. RL was saying that they are at work, so they might find it difficult to talk, but I'm going to allow you to talk. I hope you can join us, RL. So thank you.
Does he come on the screen?
Hello, RL.
RL, are you able to come on the screen? Is he able to come on the screen?
One sec. How about?
I don't know if I have to do anything.
And
just bear with us, y'all. It's the first time. It's all of our first times. It's like a virgin on prom night, just trying to figure it out and not ruin our dress.
Ain't that the truth?
So I see RL saying he's talking, but I don't see RL. And when I think of RL,
what
do I got to do?
I'm sorry.
And
because it says something about start the video. I tried to start it. It says,
yep,
you cannot start because the host has disabled it.
Oh, now this might be something you as host, because I'm just co-host.
As the host, okay.
Amanda, you
as
right.
Okay.
Host.
Oh yeah, here you go, RL. One sec. All right, I think you can come on now. No, did I take you out the game?
Oh, what? Perhaps.
I think I took him out the game. No, he's here.
Yeah,
all right.
It's telling me I just unmuted, so I just unmuted here.
Okay, I just promoted you. Okay, welcome y'all to struggles that are just technology based. Okay, and I'm gonna make co-host. So is that how that works? Or do I just, no, I shouldn't have to do that. Here we go. Why is it not letting me see you? Let's just try this. Okay. How about now?
You've been assigned as co-host.
So you should be able to click your camera.
Okay. Yep, it's saying.
Okay, now I'm really sweating. Welcome, RL.
Hey, how are you?
So RL, tell me this. How many times do people hear your name and go, why you always lying?
All the time.
Lying? Oh my
God. All the time. But it's Reggie Leroy, which is my first and last name. So, something clever.
Reggie Leroy. That's a black ass name.
You know, I'm straight out of Georgia. I'm from Albany, Georgia, down south. So, you know, civil rights movement, Martin Luther King came through there, you know, all of that. But I live in Orlando. I live in Ocoee now. So
Oh, well, we need a civil rights movement in Ocoee as well.
yeah,
So
we do. We do.
shout out to the 407. I just have to
407.
ask, if your first name is Reggie and your last name is Leroy, what's your middle name?
No, my middle name is Leroy. My last name is Socorro Garner, but that's because I added my husband's last name. It's extra. I know. I didn't think about it when we got married, but you know, it is what it is. I love him dearly.
Because I was like, if your middle name is, if it's Reggie, if your middle name is Lamont, then I'm like, we have hit peak brother level name.
Exactly.
Reggie,
Hey, that's my family.
Reggie
my
Lamont
dad,
Leroy.
my mom.
Well, RL, thank you for joining us. I first want to ask, how are you?
I'm actually really, really good, you know, today, because I'm obviously having a conversation with you. So that's awesome. I absolutely adore FSB. I am following everybody and their mama that come up in there, because I do, this is something that I've been looking for in terms of like-minded people, and it not be met with, you know, disdain and just anguish. You know, they are all open. Everybody that I've met so far and followed have been sweet, has been cool. And, you know, I get up in the morning, I have 25 notifications and I'm excited to check it, because I know it's going to be legit people being their blackity black self, as you would say, and it be content I want to enjoy. So,
well, that's what's up. I'm really happy that SFB Society is a space for you like that, because I was so conflicted on whether I should launch the app in the midst of what's going on, because I don't ever want to distract from putting our energy towards empowerment and moving. Oh my God, the air conditioning came on. Oh my God. Okay. I just don't want to ever distract from us putting our energies towards uplifting each other. And, you know, I had some friends who were like, well, girl, you made an app about uplifting each other. So I think it's in the right vein. So I'm glad that you feel that way. So your question was, I just like to ask, as a community, how do we handle the mixed messages we seem to be getting from our own? As in, for instance, the protesting or rioting, or the protesting the right way. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
I mean, for me, I think I'm an empath too. I didn't even know what that word meant until I, you know, heard your podcast, long story short. And I noticed that, you know, I take things, some people would say too serious, but you know, just the energy behind, you know, seeing, you know, one person saying one thing and then you see somebody else that says something, but we're all fighting for the same thing. But this person thinks we need to, you know, not, you know, have any property damage done here, and we need to do kumbaya. And then the other person feels like, you know, we've been quiet long enough. And, you know, for me, I'm for, you know, I've said this, and many times property damage will always be incidental to human life. So if it takes a little bit of that, you know, to get where we're going, I'm okay with it. But it was just frustrating to find myself having, you know, to, you know, the white people say what they say, and then hearing the infighting between us. You know, how do you handle, you know, that discord, or do you just kind of go your own lane, I guess?
Well, I think, you know, I feel you, because it's like when white folks that don't happen to be white, when they're saying it, it's very easy to be like, oh, y'all just foolish. Like, you know, y'all on some other shit.
Right.
It's very easy to dismiss. When it comes
Exactly.
from within, it feels more like betrayal, right? When it comes from within, it feels more like betrayal. I think what's happening right now is we're going to, we first of all, we've seen in history how divide and conquer works. And we've seen how there were these, you know, there were folks that definitely felt like, oh, like Martin's messaging is better than Malcolm's. Malcolm's messaging is better than Kwame Ture's, you know, Stokely Carmichael's, you know, Huey P. Newton's way of doing things is better. I think that what I'm trying my hardest to do is to opened my consciousness to the fact that, well, we have different, Black people are not a monolith, and we have been saying that
Right.
forever.
True.
Black people are not a monolith, and therefore there's not going to be a 100% shared view of how to achieve the same goal.
That's true.
But I do think that it begs the question, well, do we have the same goal?
Oh,
And
yeah, that's true.
and I think that what's happening right now is it's going to force us to refine what that goal is. Because I think for some people, they think equality is the goal. Other people are like, well, what does equality really mean? Because if you're measuring equality based on we should be able to do what white people do, I'm not even trying to do what these white people have been doing,
Right.
because what they've been doing is
Mhm.
oppressing, and I don't see oppressing others as liberation.
Right.
So there's so many layers. And so I think one of the key things that's going to be happening in this time in our elevation and our evolution towards, quote unquote, overcoming, we shall overcome, is refinement of our shared,
Right.
of our shared idea of what that is.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
what I think these conversations are, and
Mm.
I feel like we need to be protesting. We need to be organizing. We
Right.
also need to be communicating and getting a clear point of view on that. And there's a number of organizations that have already done that for themselves, right?
Right.
We have a
Mhm.
bunch of organizations that have very clear objectives on what they are organizing towards when it
Right.
comes to the Black community. And
Mhm.
I have a list of those. I'm going to name that list at the end of this.
Okay.
I'm going to name that list at the end of this. And I think in the spirit of your question, though, it really just, I really would love for us to try and nurture, and I know this is hard because, God and the universe is working on me too, to just try and nurture a code of
Maybe ethics.
well, we need that. I guess I was more so saying just like a code of space giving, like a code of
Oh yeah,
of,
true.
a code of willingness, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because I feel like so many of us feel like we're so unheard that we have to deliver our voice. And I am absolutely one of these people. Like, we just feel like we got to deliver our voice, like in declarative tones, proclamations, you're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb.
Right.
And sometimes though, it's like, you have to realize like, well, if we keep trying to shout over each other, we're not giving each other space. And that's how that the same trigger that we get from them keeping us quiet, that trigger, then we use it on
Right.
ourselves.
Hmm. Right.
So I'm trying
True.
to be more better
Mhm.
at when people say things like that I don't agree with, being like, you're entitled to your opinion. This is mine.
Right.
And
Yeah.
leaving it at that. Now, if they start being disrespectful, et cetera, it's like, you can hold that. I
Right.
don't know who the fuck you're talking to. You can hold that. I came at you respectfully, and I expect the same in return. I came at you
Exactly.
respectfully. I expect the same in return. And
You
I'm
know,
honestly like that. The app
yeah.
SFB Society, like I made that place because I want it to be a safe space. But ideally, we want any Black community spaces to be safe spaces. That's the goal.
Exactly.
And I believe that
Right.
any Black community space is when 2 or more Black folks gather. That's
That's
not
true.
a gang. That's a
I
Black
agree.
community space.
I agree.
So it's gonna take us all making it's gonna take us all making our own individual choice to say, I'm not gonna silence this person.
Right. True. True.
I don't necessarily have to engage in a back and forth with them that is toxic or disrespectful. I don't got to do that.
Right.
But I can tell them, you're entitled to your opinion. This is where I'm coming from.
Right.
And it can still be peaceful. Again, I'm working on this. I'm a work in
Right.
progress.
I feel your space. I saw something, if I can say one more thing real quick. I saw something.
Yes.
Somebody said, which one are you? Are you Malcolm or are you Martin?
That's
So
somebody that
I
don't know
was
their
like,
history.
in the spirit of Amanda Seals, it depends on the day. I might be Martin today and I might be Malcolm tomorrow. I might be a mixture of both. I don't know. You just have to present the information in front of me, and then I'll answer it at that time. So to choose which lane, it's just those are some of the things that I've seen, and it just kind of made me say, you know what, let me take a step back.
And this is why we have to learn about our people and our history, because the fact of the matter is, both of them were both of them at different times.
Yes.
Okay. Like,
yeah.
both of them went through evolutions. Both of them went through transformations. These were full souls. These were people who were learning, who were discovering. And if you
Right.
are a full soul that is learning and discovering, baby, you always going to transform. And don't let
Right.
nobody keep you where you were. Right. Like, people love to talk to me about shit I was saying when I was 22. And I'm like, I was 22. Like, I barely had titties. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Let me live. Like, a nigga done grown, man. Can I grow?
You know,
Can I grow?
yeah.
You know, like when we look and you know, it doesn't always have to be about a name change, but like when we look at Malcolm, he gave us points of reference to his growth. He was Malcolm
Right.
Little, he was Detroit Red, he was Malcolm X, he was El Haj Malik Shabazz. You know,
Right.
Martin
It was all
Luther
those
King may
things.
not have changed his name every time he evolved, but he did change his conversation. And anybody who has really studied the work of both of them understands that these were multi-layered people that both had ideas of where peace takes place, ideas of where, because neither of them ever promoted violence. They promoted
Right.
demons.
Right.
Malcolm never said go out and shoot people up. He just said if they shooting you up, hey, don't lay down.
You might want to shoot back. Right. Exactly. I feel you.
So at the point of that, it's like at the bottom line of that, it still comes back to we got to learn. We got to learn about these things because we reference them so much because they're such incredible points of light.
Right.
So we got to know about how those lights are pointing us.
Right.
But I hope do you feel like we got anywhere with this question?
I've been fed, sister. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yes, I think it's a very broad question to kind of ask, but you know, I think you're right. You have to understand that everybody has, you know, they have their opportunity and every voice matters in this. And just because it's not something I agree with, I don't necessarily have to engage in that way and just, you know, use my own platform to do what I do. And yeah, so I appreciate it. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you. As I always say, every Black experience is a Black experience unless it is anti-Black.
Trust me, I've seen the special. I watched it about 10 times already.
Yes, all right. Yes. Thank you so much, babe.
All right, bye.
Bye, love. How does this work? This is that weird time where we say bye, but then we still in the elevator together. All right. I like this. This is dope.
Right. Next, I believe we have E. Will.
Oh, I saw E. Will's question. Hold on. Okay. Yes, got it right here.
All right, E. Will, thank you. You are now live.
I don't see E. Will.
And
There he is. All right.
Hey.
Oh, she is. There's she. I don't know why I just assumed it was a he.
My name is Erica.
Hello. How are you, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
We here, right? We trucking, we moving, trying to
Yeah.
just keep things grooving.
Yeah.
I first want to point out your coordination because the watch matches the shirt, which matches the hat. And as you know, we got to coordinate.
And it wasn't even
bam.
planned. Oh.
Because it was in you. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just do this. I don't even be like knowing. It just happens. Well, welcome to the Small Doses Forum, Side Effects of Uprising. We are happy to have you here. For those of you who are just joining us, Small Doses is my podcast. We have been doing for 2.5 years, and today is our first forum where we are opening the floor to have folks share their questions in regard to the topic at hand. Today's topic is uprising, and we have a segment called DMT, and this is our DMT forum. So I want to welcome E. Will. Is that how you would like to be addressed, E. Will?
You can call me Erica.
Okay. Hey, Erica. Right, Erica with a U. Hey, Erica.
No.
So Erica, where are you from?
I am in Atlanta.
Ah,
Yes,
okay. You are.
that's why I asked the question that I asked.
Okay, so we gonna hop right into the question then.
Mhm.
Erica asked, how do we make sure people, especially younger people, don't overlook the importance of voting during this time? Lately, I've heard so many people dismiss the importance of voting, and they probably only vote during the presidential election or not at all. How can we make sure voting does not get lost in any of this? Well, before I speak to that, I would love to hear you speak more to this if there's anything else you want to add.
It's pretty much it. And what made me ask this? On Friday, our mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, was on national TV, and one of the things that she said was, "We need to vote." It was a lot of resistance about that. A lot of people were saying it doesn't work, and I know everybody has seen what happened last year with the government with the government election with Brian Kemp. You know, he stole the election.
Yes, and how he stole it, and how
Right,
it was
so
stolen
people
from
are
Stacey Abrams.
discouraged. Yeah, people are discouraged, but at the same time, like, you know, I still think voting is important, you know, and you know, we need to make sure that we educate ourselves with the important elections, not only the presidential election, but you know, I mean, like, look what happened with Barack. Like, I mean, he had to deal with a bunch of Republican senators, and that's why it was hard for him to get a lot of stuff done, you know. And then just like last night, looking at like I paid attention to like all the other elections in the other states, and I noticed that Ferguson elected their first Black female mayor. Voting
Yep.
works. Iowa got rid of that white supremacist. Voting works. So like, how can we make sure that we don't lose the importance of voting in with this whole uprising that we're doing right now?
I think that one of the keys is really just first, well, first, I want to just point out to everyone who is joining us. If you are joining us on Instagram Live, you can see what's happening. We see the individuals coming on by checking out our live on YouTube right now. So if you go to my Instagram profile, you can click on the link in my link tree and it'll take you to our YouTube Live where you'll be able to see lovely folks like Erica joining me in conversation right here in the Small Doses Forum, Side Effects of Uprising. I guess for me, everything you're saying is super duper valid. I think for a lot of folks, it's the period at the end of we need to vote that kind of gets them a little bit ruffled, because there is nuance to that. And what you're saying, I think, gets left out of the conversation. Like sometimes sometimes I feel like in the effort of simplicity, it becomes like, we need to vote, end of story. But then folks are like, on what? And for who? And I think that the work that's going to be done is in not just telling people that they need to vote, but who they need to vote for. And for what it's worth, like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I get, like, it's hard work to like know everybody. Like, the system has been made to be very difficult to understand in terms of like how bills get passed, how legislation gets passed, how policy gets created, you know, in terms of like, okay, how do budgets make it through that affect different cities and who votes on that, you know. And like, I don't want to sound conspiracy theory right here, but we are in a country that focuses so much on work. It's literally like you don't even have time as a citizen to do the work in being involved as a citizen. Like the amount of people that you have to vote for is it seems like a very overwhelming amount of people that you have to learn and know what they're going to do, et cetera, which is why there are organizations that are focused on trying to really simplify that. Like, for instance, like Black Futures Lab, started by Alicia Garza, they work with Black people to transform our communities, building Black political power and changing the way that power operates. So like they offer, you know, like shorthand information on, these are the people who are running, these are the things that they're about, like, support these people. They endorse different folks that are good for our communities. And those types of shorthands need to be added when we say we need to vote. Like, to me, like, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, like she has definitely like come in there and is making her stand and like taking her stand and letting folks know like I'm on your side. But I think we just need like that extra bit of information of like, we need to vote. And this is where you need to go to learn who to vote for. People get discouraged very easily when they don't see results. Like that's like just human. That's just human nature. And so I'm happy to see folks celebrating very loudly that Ferguson elected their first Black mayor, because people need to be able to see like, oh, we did that. Like you just said, like they did that. Like they got Iowa. First of all, you're like, are there Black people in Iowa? Like aside from, you know, Solange's son's father who went to college there, like, you know,
Right.
like, but yes. And are there people in Iowa who may just be people who happen to be white and they're like, you know, we love corn, but we ain't corny. Like that, they don't want, maybe they don't, they're like, we don't want that in our space either. But I think the importance of voting, the way that we continue to elevate that to people's mind frame is we couple it with something that is more relatable to people. Like voting as an act up until this point in America has never seen great change. That you can't argue that. Like for a people that have dealt with so much, our vote has never felt like it's never felt like our vote created a change that in any way truly, I don't want to say it anyway, but a change that truly has challenged what we are dealing with. And I think that's the thing. It's like folks want to believe that like if you just vote the right person in office, whether it's the president or a governor, that all of a sudden it's going to flip. And unfortunately, that's not how it works. We're playing the long game. And they've been playing the long game longer. So to your point, it's like, we have to encourage people to vote and find the ways that we can reach different people on their points of interest. And I think so much of that has been based on like points of interest that are based in like what white people's point of interest might be. We got to find Black points of interest. And that's what, you know, like, that's what like me and Angela Rye and Tiffany D. Cross and all the women that were in a part of this op-ed that was urging Joe Biden to get a Black VP and to put a Black woman appointee on the Supreme Court and to have a Black agenda. That's what that's about. We're like, yo, we want to encourage, right? Like, but we want to encourage as many Black people to vote as possible. And we feel like if you can show these things, then more Black people will be compelled to vote than simply just the ones who are into politics.
Right.
But like our young people, it's like, if you're not connecting with them and you're not making them feel seen, what they're like.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be about marketing. It really ends up being marketing. And I've been saying this for a long time, marketing and messaging, and not just ending it at we need to vote, but we need to vote because, and being able to sum that up in a very succinct way. And I don't think anyone has really been able to do it other than just saying like, we need to vote because we need to get Trump out of office. And listen, that's a strong one. That's a strong one. We need to vote to get him out of office. Fair. There's a lot of other stuff we got to vote on though. And that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he is the top down, but if we're coming from bottom up, trust there's people that are closer to your eye level than you think that are determining how your life is led. And you don't even know. Right? These aldermen whose kids are in your school, right? Your superintendent. Your kids are going to a school and you get to vote on who is making the decisions for your school system.
Yes.
These are the people who determine the books that are in your classrooms. You know, these are the people who determine whether or not your school system is going to have a contract with the local police department. It was a big deal that Minneapolis school district said, you know what? We're done. We're canceling our contract with the Minneapolis Police Department. And I'm pretty sure that that's going to have some type of like compensatory penalty, like some like economic penalty. And they're like, whatever. If we got to do a kill fee, fine. But I think that what that story illuminates is how the people that are in those positions that made that decision, they were voted into those positions, and they made the right decision for your children. So like, as I'm talking through this, I think one thing, honestly, Erica, is really just deciding like, okay, what are 3 areas of my life that are going to be greatly impacted by who I vote for, right? So like if somebody has a family member or a friend in prison, okay, prison reform, right? And decisions being made around prison. If somebody says, well, my kids are in school, my kids are in grade school, so whatever's going on in the school system, and people like Betsy DeVos who are making decisions about, right. Right. That's going to matter to me. And then maybe they're a small business owner. And so the people who are making decisions about small businesses and zoning and all that, maybe that's your 3rd thing. So those 3 things, prison reform, education, and small business, you're going to make at least those 3 things a focus of your attention on educating yourself on who is in place and who needs to get replaced. And to me, it's like, you got to make it digestible. There's so much at work against us that it can feel so overwhelming that it's easier to just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just do me. Not even realizing that they're controlling how you do you too.
Right.
So maybe that's, so I think that for me, like that's a messaging that, and I gotta tell y'all, that's how Angela Rye kicked it to me. Angela was like, what are 3 things that you care about? Like, just find those 3 things. And then the 4th one can simply just be like who you're voting for president, right? Because that's like top of the line. But voting is important. I agree with you 100%. And I think that your question, how can we make sure voting does not get lost in any of this? Well, it's by people like you continuing to center it in the conversation, right? And not just in conversations on here, but like the fact that you centered it in a conversation within SFB Society. I'm sure you're centering it in your conversations on social media. You're centering it on your conversations on your group chats. We all have to become our own leaders for the things that we care about. And we have to do it in a fearless way. We got to do it in a way where we can't worry about who we're going to, who's going to feel uncomfortable. It can't, at this point, that can't be the thing. Because you know what happens when people are uncomfortable? They shift.
Yeah.
So some people might shift away from you, but some people may be like, tell me more, Erica. So I really think this is such an important question, and I really appreciate you. Do you feel like we've answered it? Is there more that you want to add? Is there anything else you want to ask?
No, I liked your perspective. Thank you. And thanks for this app. I have been on it every day since you launched it. It was good to see RL. I think he was the first person to follow me, actually.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I am looking forward to more on this app and what you can bring for us and give to us. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you bringing this to us. Stay
You're
strong
welcome.
and stay Black.
You too. Bye.
All right, sis. Bye. So the app that they're talking about is this new app that I launched called SFB Society. It is a membership only app that's a safe space for you to be your whole Black selves. And we do invite allies, just know your place, which is the fact that we're not centering you. But our questions today have come from the members of SFB Society. And I wanted to find questions that I felt were going to be reflective of our community. And I think so far we're doing a great job. So let's keep going. Brendan, who is next on the set?
All right. Next we have DeAndre T. And in addition, DeAndre has asked an additional question that I'm just going to post in the chat for you if you want to jump in on that as well. So I'm going to post that right now. And DeAndre, one quick sec. All right, you should be Yeah, you should be audible as of now. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello. There he is. All right.
Can you see me? Do I gotta hit anything?
You'll be able to now, so you should be able to turn on your camera. Hello,
Oh, there we
DeAndre. How
go.
you doing?
Oh, my
Who you got in the back?
That's me. It's
Oh, is
just
that a picture?
of me. That's before the quarantine. I look much better before the quarantine. Right now, working from home looking busted. But see, if you just
Why are we like this? Your
I
man is
I
like,
had to do the
just in
best that
case
I
y'all
could
didn't
do.
know.
I look much better on a regular day. So I'm just trying to see this. Yep, see. I be in your inbox at IG too. Like I know you, but still.
Welcome, DeAndre. I appreciate you being here. Where are you hitting us up from?
Washington, D.C., born and raised.
All right, DC. Y'all definitely
From the
been
old
holding it
chocolate
down.
city. It's changing, but I'm still chocolate city to me.
All right. Well, keep it chocolate, DeAndre. Keep it chocolate. And I just want to shout out DC, who, y'all have been holding it down just to the fullest, and just seeing y'all continue to take to the streets and not be backed down by these scare tactics. This tyrant is encouraging to all of us.
Yes, like this psychological warfare they're doing, all the little tactics is just for people who aren't like actually thinking outside the box. They can't see. It's like, no, they're doing this stuff on purpose. It's not just a chance. Oh, it's just a helicopter going around 5 times for no reason. No, they're trying to scare people away. They're trying to make people uncomfortable to leave. So it's been crazy, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And how are you?
I'm good. Actually, it's funny. Well, let me get into it, but it's funny to me because right before the quarantine started, I was laid off separately. But like right before, like we were like couldn't leave the house, I got a new job and I've been working from home since then. So on one hand, it's been good for me. Like I got a job immediately. The new job is much better than the old job.
Congrats.
Down the street from where I just moved to in February. So on one hand, it's like, well, my life is like lining up, but the world is falling apart. So it's crazy to me, but I'm good. And I can't complain. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. So I'm good. Like I can't complain at all about that.
Well, I mean, being able to find silver linings in this is like the key to your survival, right? So
it really, really is. Yeah.
So I'm glad you're able to find a lot of silver linings, and we got to clap it up for the silver linings, baby.
Yeah,
we got to clap it up.
And
we got to celebrate each other.
Has been a silver lining for me too. Like having a place to, like, I love it but having a place where, because I'm on Twitter, but I don't got time for trolls. Like I'll say what I say and I'll leave. But in SFB Society, I'll have the conversation and discourse because I'm catching up on Small Doses podcast. And like Mark Lamar Hill, he said, ideas all people to think they're your peers when they're not your peers. Like they don't
wait,
know.
Say that one more time.
Say it one more time. Hill, I'm sorry. Mark Lamar Hill, I think he said that people on IG think they're your peers when they're really not your peers. And you're talking to people who don't know what they're talking about. So I'll say something and someone comes to my mentions. I'm like, you clearly don't even know what you're talking about. So I have it's much more entertaining conversation and productive conversation on SFB Society. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna read your question. Now you added a second question.
Yeah, follow.
But I want to be able to give people time.
Yeah.
I want to be able to give people time. So I wanted to choose between one of two. So which one do you feel?
The first one, the education one. That's the one I'm strong about. Yeah.
Okay. So DeAndre asks, do you believe we will ever have an education reform? In my opinion, there needs to be a full overhaul, a class action lawsuit, to be honest. There are so many school districts around the country that are allowed to teach lies and inaccurate accounts of history as it pertains to Black people. Maya Angelou said, I got to work on my Maya Angelou impersonation. When you know better, you do better. Like, it sounds too much like Eartha Kitt in Boomerang. So I got to really work on developing that. Like, my gosh, when you know better,
I hear
Eartha
Kitt until you said Eartha Kitt, but I hear Eartha Kitt.
Oh, Maya, we miss you. We love you. And Eartha, we miss you. We love you. We have to teach kids the truth so they can make better decisions for themselves and the world. So your first question was, do you believe we will ever have an education reform? So before I get into my response to this, I want to know if there's anything else you want to add to the question.
I mean, let's a little piece after that. And after that, what's the next step? So after the protesting, what do you believe is the next step? So it's okay, justice reform or even education reform. There's still much more that needs to be done. So what are the next step or top 3 steps? Like, I know you don't know everything. None of us knows everything, but what do you believe would be the first steps to get us moving in the right direction? Because people complain we're not organized. Well, okay, what's important to us? How do we attack these things? How do we organize it? Like, I'm an event planner, so I just
So
think
first
in
of all,
like
I think we
linear
have to
ways
point
like
out
that.
what reform. First of all, I
Means.
think we have to point out what reform means, right? So reform means like taking something in its form and just reforming it, right?
Mhm.
Now, I think a lot of us though would say that some of these systems, they can't be reformed. It's like they already so they're already so broken that they just need to be discarded and let's start something fresh. Now, in some cases, we, can do that in easier ways than others. I think that in some ways, in some cases, there's the opportunity to practice reform at the same time as building up something from the bottom. And I think for me, education is one of those spaces. Yes, there's an education system that does need to be toppled and rebuilt. But since that can't happen, because so much already invested in that, and there's so many people that are already a part of that, there is a reform. I look at reform like playing Jenga. You're simply just moving the pieces, right? But eventually what happens in Jenga?
It falls over.
Right. So I do believe that there's a certain amount of like practice and of there's a big amount of practice and of and optimism that can be applied to reform in the concept of like we got to keep moving these pieces until the topples over. At the same time, I believe that Black communities specifically need to be creating supplementary education practices that fill the gaps in the education systems that we want to reform. Like, a lot of people in the Jewish community, they go to Hebrew school on weekends. A lot of people in the Islam community, they go on weekends to learn about, their spiritual practice and to learn about, speaking, like reading the Quran and speaking and writing Muslim. Wait, what did I just say?
I got what you meant. You said it on small doses before, so maybe that's why I knew what you meant. Sorry.
Okay.
Like I knew. You said that in small doses. I'm talking about something else. Yeah.
No, I said speaking Muslim. That's what I'm gonna say. Speaking Arabic. I'm tired. Don't judge me.
And
you
hot, too hot and tired. I got it.
I'm hot and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, baby. Low. I heard it and I was like, that's wrong what you just said. You sound ignorant right now. Okay, I corrected
People who
it.
know you're not ignorant. It's all good. It's all
but
good.
just y'all know. That is me counting to 10 in Arabic. Shukran. Shukran. Okay. I really think that we need to, and this is not something like, I'm not saying anything new. I'm just saying that there might be people who are just new to this concept because there are absolutely Pan-African schools. There are absolutely programs, after school programs that have like teachings for children on their histories as a Black person, on their histories as a Black person in America and in the world. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Smart, Funny, and Black is rooted in the fact that we have a shared culture that binds us as a community, and reminding folks through comedy that there is a shared culture that we have that binds us through community. And thus we need to start remembering to look at each other as community. If we start teaching our children that from jump, we'll see a different outcome.
Exactly.
They will reform the education system themselves.
True.
I think the biggest thing that I keep talking about lately is just like, a lot of us think that this ends with us, and we don't look at the fact that we are a beginning of something new, and that the work that we're doing can't be done in the mindset of if it's not done now, it doesn't matter. It has to be done in the mindset of if we don't do it now, it will never happen. And when we look at the long game of things, there are things that we can put in place now that affect the future. And we need to care about our future. Our ancestors cared about us. Do you know that we're calling people that were alive 100 years ago our ancestors?
I mean, not us, but people are. We aren't the ones.
I mean, like, we're calling Harriet Tubman our ancestors. 100 years ain't no time, baby.
That's not,
It's not no time. It's a very short amount of time, but they did such impactful things, and they impacted us in such incredible ways that we're like, no, because to me in the Black community, ancestor is our version of sainthood. We're like, no, you an ancestor. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you don't put your foot in this future. We need to be putting our foot in the future, and we need to be considering that. And a lot of us don't consider that. So what you're talking about in terms of reform, and can there ever be reform? Absolutely. Can we start that today? Absolutely. And I think a lot of us need the encouragement of seeing immediate results in order to put our energy in places. Well, I'll tell you what, you take a Black child and you put them in rigorous schooling, and rigorous just means consistent schooling that teaches them about their past, that teaches them about the importance of their present, and that teaches them about their ability to define their future, and you will see an immediate result. And when we look at a lot of these children who are in spaces where they seem like they can't be saved, or they're bad apples, we understand that when we look at their homes, they're not being treated that in their homes. And a lot of times they're not being treated that way because the people who are in their homes weren't treated that way before.
Exactly.
So
It's a cycle.
it's a cycle. I was very fortunate. I had brunch with my first grade teacher a few months ago, and she was like, we were talking, she was talking about my special, and that she had watched my special. And I was like, yeah, and then we talked about Lift Every Voice and Sing. And I was like, yeah, I hadn't learned it until 10th grade. And she was like, skirt, skirt, pump the brakes. Miss Channel was like, no, ma'am. And now, ma'am, Miss Channel said, I had you singing the Negro National Anthem in first grade. I didn't even know that since first grade, I have been like having these concepts injected into my soul. So much so that I forgot later when I moved to Florida. That wasn't singing the Negro National Anthem in my Florida public school.
It's interesting about DC because I saw it was a hashtag on Twitter saying, "Would you get your first Black teacher?" I had my first Black teacher in like kindergarten, and I had my next one in first grade, third grade, and fifth grade. So to me, it was normal. So it's interesting being from DC back then because that was what's normal to us. You sometimes it's not all the time, but sometimes you didn't experience racism until you left DC. Now, granted, it was a lot of racism in DC, but if you were in your neighborhood and you didn't leave the neighborhood, you were kind of oblivious to it. Not at all saying it was definitely prevalent in DC, but it was so much representation from jump.
Right.
You felt comfortable. Like growing with my family, my sister made sure, my sister older than me, she gave me books about our history and made sure I knew what was going on. So that's why I have so much emphasis on education, because I grew up with the education I think we should have.
You see the value.
I see the value.
And the value of what that did to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I was in your inbox one time and I was like, people don't have critical thinking skills. Like that's why they're not able to process things for themselves, because they're not critically thinking. And I'm saying that the point is they don't have the educational background to be able to critical think and make the decision for themselves. All they can do is listen and be like, oh, well, that's what I'm being told. Why would this person lie? Why would that person lie to you? That's a good question. Yeah, that's by design.
And that's by design. It's by design, which is why I focus education so much as like a revolutionary tool, because they really didn't want us to learn. And if learning wasn't so dangerous, they wouldn't have tried everything in their power and continue to try everything in their power to keep us from doing it.
Exactly.
It is the key. So I think the beautiful thing about learning is that, we have so much access to be able to do that without the assistance of the oppressor. So we have to take that time and focus it. And I really appreciate your question, because it really is we've already discussed on this call 3 different things that are imperative to growth. We've talked about protesting with RL. We talked about voting with Erica. We talked about education with DeAndre. All of these things, actually, they're all right here.
They're all right there.
It's my Black logo, but there is a multi-pronged approach. So I'm completely with you. Listen, when I was in 4th grade, we had like different teachers. We didn't just have one teacher. And I'll never forget my teacher, Miss Tellis. She was leaving. And in my journal, we had to write journals to her. And in my journal, I put, you were my only, because this is when I had moved to Orlando by this point.
Okay.
And I put, you were my only Black teacher. Now you're leaving. And like my little 4th grade soul was just like.
It crushed, because it's like, even if it's your teacher, it's not like your friend, but it's a safeness to it. It's just, if I ask this question, she's not gonna think I'm dumb. I'm just asking a question. It's just little stuff like that that makes you more comfortable to engage more. So
my 3rd grade teacher literally told me, like I said, I want to be the first Black female president of the United States of America. And she said, you need to pursue more realistic goals. Amanda, she sent a note home that said, Amanda is overconfident and needs to pursue more realistic goals.
Can I say how weird it is to talk to you, even though I've heard these stories on your spot, on small doses? It's so weird. Like I'm hearing it twice. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't know. I don't
You're
know.
like, I know, girl. Remember we was talking about that the other day, girl.
That's exactly.
No, but I
how it is.
appreciate you, DeAndre. And before we go, I must say this. Okay, polka dots. Yeah.
Wait, no. Okay, global event. That global event was great. I was in there laughing it up. I loved it. That was great. So I'm waiting for the next.
The next Smart,
event.
Funny, and Black in the house is Juneteenth. June 19th is the
I'm
next
there,
Smart,
I'm
Funny,
there.
and Black in the house. So
I'm
we
there,
will be
I'm in
promoting that. So, but thank you so much for joining us. Your question is completely appreciated. Well, do you feel like we addressed your
Oh,
your
definitely,
question?
definitely. Yeah, you definitely addressed the question. Like, and you said stuff because I didn't know there were Pan-African schools in the country already. So that's something that I didn't even know about. So you
Yeah,
definitely answered my
Oakland.
question. Oh, well, damn. Okay,
And
great.
so, and I guess just to add to that, it's like, you know, we just got to make sure that we're researching a lot of the things that are coming to our consciousness right now. There are people that have already been doing them. Remember, no idea is original. So there's people that are already doing them. And it's about us taking the time to research, okay, these people have already been doing this. Let me see how I can be involved
Sure.
in advancing what the work is that they've already been doing. So
Sure,
thank you, DeAndre. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Amanda.
And
Love
stay
you.
safe and stay Black, brother.
Thank you too. How do we get off?
I know, right? Now we in the elevator together. So we're going to keep it moving. For those of y'all who have just joined us, we are here at the Small Doses Forum. So we've got another hour to go. We're here at the Small Doses Forum on Uprising. We may not get to everybody's questions, so I just want to say that off top. I want to apologize if we don't make it to your question, but you know what? This is working. I feel like it's working. Let me know in the comments if you feel like this is working. But I think that to add to DeAndre's question, you know, there's something interesting that's going on with the fact that like so many of our kids end up having to be homeschooled. And I know there's a lot of parents who are just like, oh my God, that's killing me. But it does give us a little bit more opportunity to have hands-on, you know, to have hands-on context building for our children, right? So like you may have a child that's in school and that's learning about, I don't know, manifest destiny. And that may be contextualized by their teacher as, well, manifest destiny is the ideology upon which the explorers from Europe set out upon the 7 seas to discover new lands in the name of their, you know, rulers. Manifest destiny is the ideology through which people set out across America to discover new lands and settle them in the name of America. Manifest destiny is this ideology that says that God has destined us to manifest. This is our right. Well, guess what? You grow up and you're like, holla! They weren't explorers, they were colonizers. They weren't settling, they were stealing. And when you are at home now being able to be a part of how this unit is taught to your kids, you're given the opportunity to provide that context and to provide that very, very, very important nuance so that, you know, their consciousness is raised in a different way as they continue to move through these spaces. We're going to go to another question. For those of you who are just joining us, we are here at the Small Doses Forum on Side Effects of Uprising. Small Doses is my podcast that I've been doing for 2.5 years. We approach different topics that over a range of lifestyle of life. We've talked about side effects of being a Black woman in Hollywood. We've done side effects of triggers. We've done side effects of side effects of the curve. We've done side effects of politics, side effects of free speech. We have a number of different topics that we've discussed, and we've had incredible guests. And sometimes I just talk and it's not guests, but the goal for my podcast has always been to just explore these different topics that are a part of our lives in ways that are responsible, that are thoughtful, and that are compassionate. I'm sure I've missed the mark sometimes, but that's always the goal. And in that respect, I felt like, well, I want to be able to do that same thing, especially considering what is going on in our nation and what I feel like is going to continue to go on in terms of a raising of consciousness. I want to be able to approach that in a responsible way with thoughtfulness and compassion, and open the space up for you guys to join in having that. So today we have questions that are being provided by members of my new app, the SFB Society, which is a safe space for you to be your whole Black self. We focus on 3 tenets: vibes, jokes, facts, and using those 3 tenets to provide a place for folks to be, to provide a place for folks to fight the power while also fighting for their joy. And it's a membership only space because I want to protect the space. I want to make sure that people feel safe in that space. They feel safe from their employers stalking them. They feel safe from trolls. And I think it's really a key element to our elevation to be able to have these conversations. And at SFB Society, we are troll, hotep, and Karen free. I think I need to put that on a shirt. I think that should maybe just be our tagline: SFB Society, troll, hotep, and Karen free. Ba-da-ba. So let's go to our next question. Let's see, Brendan, who's on the set?
So next we have Autumn, and Autumn wanted to let you know that they're going to be doing their 3rd question.
Okay. Where's she at?
There we go.
You're so silly.
Alrighty.
In the meantime, in between time, I just want to play this real quick for the folks.
Oh, you disabled my video.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Some backstory.
Yeah.
Y'all are bearing witness to Miss Autumn Vaughn. All right. One of the realest G's alive. You know what I'm saying? Me and Autumn went to SUNY Purchase together. Me and Autumn have purchased Jordans and a Nietzsche velour suits together.
Couple of Guess jeans, you know.
Guess jeans. White Plains Mall.
Yes.
White Plains Mall. And Autumn has always been an incredible mind, who is also hilarious and who is also very rooted in Black excellence and education and empowerment from day one. Autumn and I have spent incredible amounts of times during snowstorms
Yes.
together, talking about things. And I just want to tell this very little story that has nothing to do with what's going on, but
that's good.
In the winter of 2003, so actually it would be technically 2002. In the winter of 2002, over the course of the summer, a rapper had started to emerge as somebody that people needed to pay attention to. And Audie, being one of my fellow hip hop heads, you know, we would share mixtapes and we would talk about, like, you know, I think, he's next. This is the one, he the one. And I will never forget till the day that I die, because I think about it every single time I hear this song. I got to JFK Airport after Christmas vacation, and Autumn had come to pick me up. And she kicked the door open. And in the club was blasting from the car. Bump,
from the Honda.
Go ahead, from the Honda car. And that had not come out yet. She had gotten on some like Cut Master C mixtape or something, where she was like, yo, son, shit is crazy.
Yep.
And so just so you know, like, that's the level of enthusiasm and connectivity that is going on here. And I will remember that till the day that I die, that Autumn turned to me in her North Face. Gotta rock the North Face. Autumn, tell them where you from, B. Tell them where you from.
I'm from East New York, Brooklyn.
I went to Autumn's baby shower on the L train to Livonia Ave.
In Brownsville.
That's love, B.
I was concerned. All right. I really was.
So first and foremost, though, I would love for you to just give people some background on your educational background and
Okay.
and your actual work that you do in the world right now.
Okay, so I have a degree in history with a Black Studies concentration.
Wait, the other 3 officers are being charged?
Oh, news. Look, hold on.
News.
Look, I'm
Other 3
typing.
officers are being... Hit the Googles real quick. The other 3 officers, I guess they decided that, you know, lives mattered. Okay, wait. Minneapolis charged. I don't see nothing.
Only TMZ is popping up for me. The other ones in.
Listen, TMZ though, whether you like it or
I know,
not,
they quick. They said 3rd-degree murder that is now facing the upgraded charge of 2nd-degree murder.
Good. The remaining
And
ex-officers
expects that the other 3 will be charged with accessory to murder. So the attorney.
Yeah, shut them all down.
Yeah.
Tauto, Thomas Lane, and J. Alexander Kung. All y'all is trash. Trash, trash, trash. Get them out of here.
Get them out of here.
Shut them down. Wait, have they been booked?
That I don't see.
Oh, that's the mugshot for Chauvin.
Mhm.
You know he's in that prison. You know he's not in Gen Pop. You know they over there giving him like, you
Not
know,
gonna make
Twinkies
it.
and shit.
He ain't gonna make it. That's why. He ain't gonna make it, y'all. Woo. Look,
Let me tell you something though.
News
Let me
report.
tell you something though. Black people, I need us to keep laughing in the midst of all this shit. Like, because this shit be so fucking heavy and terrible. Oh, sorry. The CNN video is playing. My fault. There's a CNN video playing that people can hear. I need to shut it down. Is it still playing, Rebecca? She said yes. Okay. What CNN video? I don't see a CNN video. Is it playing
On another tab?
Oh, it's off. It's off. Thank you, Bex.
Okay.
All right. I've never called Rebecca Bex before, ever. First day. I just need us to keep laughing. Like, I know all of this shit is serious and it has to be, the gravitas can't be lost on that. But if they take our laughter, then they really won, because we've been able to do this shit forever. And on my special, let's say Harriet Tubman didn't have jokes, but I kind of low key feel like she may have had jokes. Harriet may have actually had
mad
jokes.
jokes.
You got to have jokes, right? Mad jokes. Like,
I got jokes.
I got jokes. So, Audie, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
It's okay.
newsflash.
No, that was major. So I have a degree, a BA in history with a concentration in Black Studies and American history. And I have a master's in education, secondary. In addition,
What is secondary education, just for folks who don't know?
So grades 7 to 12, I'm a social studies teacher at the Department of Education in New York City. I am a lead teacher. I have been up for some awards like Big Apple. I write curriculum.
You better tell them about the awards. I've been up for accolades. You know what I mean? They know about me. They know about me.
I wrote curriculum for our city in social studies, which is really key. You kind of hit on that in your previous talks about voting and education. So what we teach is very important, especially in social studies and history, where, a lot of the applicable skills and understanding is very pertinent today. So trying to
say applicable and pertinent. You came here, you showed up with the vocabs today. You really showed up with the vocabs today. And I'm here for all of it.
I love the fact that you're talking about the educational system and the power that we have in it. Also on just the everyday, check your kids' work, see what they're giving your child. See what they're giving them. Ask them questions. You never know what type of rhetoric that they are telling your child. It's really important. I have scars that I remember from elementary school and middle school and high school. And you talked about your scars. We all have scars. There are things that have been said to us that have really had to be debunked. So, just pay attention. My question was about communication. Streamlining
I want to
information.
first, wait, but I do want to first pay attention to what's going on here because you're giving us a honey blonde. So I just
You know, we love the honey
first-
blondes. This is
We love a honey
it's
blonde.
a
And,
honey
you know, and the
blonde
hoteps
situation.
try and say, you can't have
can't-
blonde hair and be a
Yes,
down.
I know.
You can't be woke with the blonde hair. Well, I do it every day.
Every day,
Um,
blacker than black.
Every day. So I just wanted to pay attention to that for a singular moment. For those of you all who are watching on Instagram Live, if you want to see Autumn's Honey Blonde, you can go to the link in my Instagram profile and watch us on YouTube. So I see
Yes.
people like, I don't see her. I don't see her. You
gotta
can
go on YouTube.
go to the link in my Instagram profile and watch Small Doses Forum on our YouTube. We are doing a YouTube live. I'm just over here so that I can let y'all know that we doing something. And if you look at the pin, look at the pin comment, it lets you know
It's right
that
there.
we are over on YouTube, getting it in,
Yep.
getting it in.
It's right there.
So Audie, I have your question, but if you want to say it in your own words.
Okay.
go
No,
for
no.
it.
Okay. So, I mean, it connects to the other questions. How will or can the Black community improve streamlining information about solidarity, protesting, and other aspects of what I'll call phase 2? For example, like Blackout Tuesday, there was a lot of ambiguous, the reasoning I don't feel was very clear. So for someone who pays attention, a lot of others were like, okay, why? What's the purpose? Should we still be posting other things? So do you have any suggestions for like effective communication when it comes to like these things?
Our Black media needs to step up. Our Black media is robust. However, our Black media, I feel, does not earnestly know its power and use it. And when I say Black media, I mean on a various levels, right? So I mean on the internet level, so places like Shade Room, Bossip, Madame Noir, Baller Alert, you know, all of these are sites that people go to every single day. And, you know, I may take issue with, you know, what they have focused on up until this point, but I think this is a great opportunity for them to also have a foothold in being places and source points for spreading information with a clear focus. So for instance, apparently Blackout, and I have to say apparently because I'm not really sure, but apparently Blackout Tuesday was really launched as the brainchild of Black music execs. And outside of the internet space, we have like Revolt, we have BET, we have programs that are helmed by Black folks that care, right? People like Joy Reid does AM Joy. You know, you have people like Lindsay Granger, who she makes it into my Instagram all the time with her commentary. We have people like Angela Rye, who end up on CNN talking, Bakari Sellers, etc. So there should be, in my opinion, there should be a network that is understood. It's almost like an above ground railroad of Black media. That when there is a message that needs to be disseminated in a clear way, it can be presented as such. Now, here's the key. We have become so obsessed with being the first that a lot of times I feel like folks don't want to report things. And I left out Hollywood Unlocked, but they do a great job too. I left out, you know, I think that there's got to be, that has to not be the reason why you post something. It has to be because you want to educate folks and get everybody on the same page. So imagine if with Blackout Tuesday, the execs who came up with this idea could have very seamlessly tapped into that above ground network of Black media and said, this is what we're doing. This is why, and this is what it's for.
Right.
At least there's a clear point of reference so that even if you disagree with it, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're not sure about it, there's a clear point of reference to go to find out what the thesis behind it is and where it's trying to go. We don't have that. So I feel like there's, you know, and I feel like to that same note, there needs to be an underground network. There needs to be an underground network of how information is disseminated. And, you know, like things being shared that this is what's going to happen. So I need y'all to move this way. Now, don't get me wrong. In some cases, there are underground networks. I'm a part of some of them where there's an understanding between the folks involved of how to support each other, even if we don't necessarily agree on every element of it, how to curse about it enough and support each other enough to disseminate it through our own channels in a shared understanding of the goal.
Right.
I think those are two things like that can really be done. And it's really going to be about unity. And it's really going to be about understanding the power of looking past like things like, you know, if we didn't post it first, then it ain't, you know, then it ain't news. And it's like, it's not about it necessarily being news. It's about, it needs to be information. And if it's valid, then it needs to be
You're right.
shared.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. I mean, that would make it very clear, because the people that do want to comply and be in unity, it would just be a clear message. For example, the economic boycotting that's supposed to occur in July, you know, where's the research being done? Who's coming up with this? Like the list of places where, you know, people of color or Black people are being violated. You know, what have they said? Like, I saw a lot, you see memes, you see a lot of things. Like if it's streamlined, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna order Wendy's. My kids are not gonna eat Wendy's. And that's it. And this is the reason.
Right.
And I understand why. So I think that would help. It's just like voting, like you said, streamline it down, make it simple.
Make it simple. And also we have to get back to journalism, right? Like, you know, you look at Erin Haynes of the 19th, and what I love about Erin is that she is a full ass sister, like to the hilt, but she's a full on journalist in terms of her ethics and how she is, you know, getting messaging out to folks. You look at people like Tiffany D. Cross, same thing. And I think that what we really have to understand is that all these op-eds and these think pieces, you know, everyone deserves a voice, but at the end of the day, what about like, here is the facts? We don't have that anymore. Not in the amount of time that we need it. We just need some objective, these are the facts about things sometimes.
Yes.
And so much of media is about aggregating at this point. It's not even like it has to be, okay, you got to go to each individual place. No, it really should just be like, these are the facts. This is what's happening. And when you send that press release out, everybody should feel compelled to post it.
Yep. That makes sense. Yep.
And then do an op-ed on it. But at least just post the actual top-down facts.
Right.
And some places do a much better job of this than others. And we do have spaces like the Root and the Griot that definitely are trying to be, not trying, they're actively being spaces of like, okay, we're going to give you objective news, and then we're going to also give you op-eds. But then I've had people at various, you know, in various positions of media say like, well, I've had someone tell me that they did, an editorial op-ed. And I was like, what is that? What is that? You're either doing a piece that's what it is, or you're doing a piece about what you think it is.
What you think. Right. Right.
So I think those are, I think really harnessing Black media and Black media making the choice to operate different than white media and see the power that we have across the visual medium of the internet, across the TV and across the radio space, and galvanizing that in a real active way. Because let me tell you, media has started wars.
Absolutely.
You know, so like, that's why, like, you know, even like people are like, you know, how could you leave the real? How could you leave the real? You were doing your voice. Hilarious. Who just tried to talk to you?
That was definitely Rachel. I'm like,
those mom eyes were amazing. Y'all, did you see her mom eyes? That just said a whole paragraph. Why are you talking to me? You see what I'm doing right now. And I told you I was about to be doing something. And I told you I was going to be busy. So I don't even know why you are bothering me. Go do what you were supposed to do.
It's so funny you caught that. That's all the way true. All of it. Every single thing. This is true.
That was amazing. Because I thought you was doing it to me at first. I'm like, oh no, that's somebody else. Somebody in trouble.
Somebody
in trouble.
Yeah.
But no, like we have these Black spaces so that we can say the Black things. Right. And like in media, like when I was at the Real, I realized like I can't say what needs to be said here. Like I'm being censored in very real ways. And And there's a disregard that happened before I even got there in regard to just like what our audience would be interested in and what would enrich them, et cetera.
Right.
And that comes from people at the top not being a part of or interested in the advancement of the people that they're actually speaking to. So it's like, I can't exist there, you know? And media to me is just, it is such a tool. And I feel so honored to be able to still be a part of media, you know, after all these years. And so that to me is one of the most vital ways of streamlining messaging and beginning to really create a foundational foothold in how we interact with new information in our community.
It's so needed. It is so needed. Yep.
And I think that the other part of that is like we are in a perfect position for there to be a new media space that starts, that literally just has that objective, you know, that literally is just like, this is where you go to know.
Yep.
So I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure, because Black folks are innovators to the hilt, I'm pretty sure there are folks who are sitting right now, like working that up. And when y'all make that happen, I will be there to support.
Me too.
Yeah, where y'all at?
Where y'all at?
I know they there
Where
somewhere
y'all at?
right now. Like, yo, you know what we need to do? And when that happens, I will be in full support.
Yep. Me too.
Do you feel like that answers? Do you feel like
Yes, yes, that was good. That was good. I think
Yes,
everything
yes.
connects. Everything connects. Like this is
Well,
great.
to me, that's the thing that folks don't really, we do connect. We connect. And like, I get so sad because I feel like so many, and I'm not taking myself out of the equation. Like so often we just forget that, you know, like when someone says some crazy shit to me and I'm in a place and I'm like, bitch, like, that's like, oh, I forgot that we connect.
Hold up. Like, okay.
We connect. Ma'am, how about, let me just, ma'am.
Sis. Sis.
So, you know, we just got to keep fortifying that strength, reminding ourselves we connect, because it comes out. It comes out, you know.
But yeah, I'm so glad for SFB. I'm excited. Like the brother was saying, you wake up, you got 50 notifications by the time you open your eyes, you're like, yay.
First of all, I know people are like, I know there's at least one hater that's like, she got them promoting it. And I am not. Like, I am honestly just shocked that you all are even this happy about SFB Society, because you know I'd be making up shit by myself in the shower. And I'm like, oh, you know what would be cool? I should do that. And then I do it. And then I'm like, oh, wait, people have to like this for this to work. Like, you know what I mean? So to hear that you guys are enjoying SFB Society and that space and feel the necessity for it in the way I do, that really means a lot to me, dog.
Nah, it's dope. Technologically, it's on point. You know, it's not a us type of situation sometimes. It's dope. Like,
it's seriously. Not a Homeboy LLC.
Right.
It's not Homeboy LLC technology.
Right.
No.
Right. We love y'all too, but we all got to pull it together. Know your strengths. So I love it. It's beautiful.
Know your strength. Know it. And Autumn is one of our deans of discussion in SFB Society. Yes. So she is somebody who's leading conversations and bringing things to the table because I knew her strengths.
Yep.
So yeah, me, Autumn and I, we have nigga names. So shout out to Javante and Trey Sean.
Right.
Forever and ever. And just an inside joke between us, in front of everybody. We used to always say, quiet niggas kill. And we used to always say this, like, quiet niggas kill. And that's Minneapolis. I saw a meme that said, Minneapolis is the quiet nigga who nobody knew had hands.
Had hands. Nope. Definitely.
And when I saw that meme, all I heard was you in my head going, quiet niggas kill, yo. Quiet niggas kill.
Yo, I'm like, let me get off so somebody else can ask a question. We can do this whole day.
We could do this all day. You're right. You're right. Thank you for being responsible. Because I'm like, we could do this all day, B. We
Yo,
could do
see
this
y'all
all day. I
SFB.
love you, Audie. I love you. I
love
love
you
you.
too. All right.
Stay
Bye,
safe.
y'all.
Stay black, baby.
Yes.
All right. So I want to try and squeeze in 2 more questions. We have 20 more minutes. So shout out to everybody who's been joining us. I know some of y'all have rocked with us for the whole 2 hours, and I think that you are superstars. Some of y'all are just joining us. I have to pee so bad, but I'm in a onesie. So I can't even step away real quick because it's gonna be like a 10-minute adventure trying to get out of this and then try and get back into this. It's not realistic. So I'm just gonna try and hold on for the next 20 minutes. So everybody who is watching us on Instagram Live, if you just joined us, know that you can watch us on YouTube. All you got to do is go to the link in my Instagram bio and check us out. What you are joining us in is the is the Small Doses Forum, Side Effects of Uprising. Today, we are bringing folks in to talk about and ask questions in regard to where we at in this world, where we at in America, where we at in our Blackness right now, and how we can take this time of elevation and elevated consciousness and really implement it in real impactful ways that will create change, if not now, soon, if not soon, later. So let's get into the next 2 questions because I said we're going to try and get 2 more questions. So Brendan, bring them on.
All right. We have Yakia with a question for you.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm about to turn on your camera in just a second.
Okay.
Yakia. All right, voila. And I will see you in 3, 2, 1. Hey.
Hey, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yakia, what's good? How are you doing today?
I'm gonna need you to ghetto that up a little bit. That's not quite it.
Okay.
It's Yakia.
Yakia.
There you go.
Okay, because there wasn't an apostrophe. So, I was just giving you the fluid. I feel
my
like
mama, she actually does have the apostrophe, but I take it out because people struggle enough with it.
But mama was like, I want people to give her yak. Yakia.
But I feel like the
I love it.
apostrophe and then there's an unnecessary Q, so I felt like we had to pick one.
Can I tell people how your name is spelled?
Yes.
It is YAQKEHA. She said there was an unnecessary Q. I feel like the Q was necessary because it makes it art. Okay? It makes it art. And then we throw in an apostrophe, Yakia. Like, that's a fragrance. Like, Yakia for women. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with that.
I love that.
Just saying, it's like I'm just I'm handing out ideas today. You know what I mean? Like whatever we can do, how we get it. So Yakia, you had a question. Now I'm looking at it, but if you want to state it in your own words, feel free.
So my question was, for people like myself who like do Instacart and just things like that, who work every day to make money every day. Like, everybody works every day to make money every day. That's a stupid way to put it. But like people who have
That's
to
not true.
choose
Some people are
working-
lazy and some people are mentors.
That's a fabulous point. But people who have to choose between going to work and making money or going out and protesting, like, how do we pick like going to work and to feed ourselves over like going out here and fighting for our freedom?
Well, I think the beauty. Well, first of all, where are you calling this from?
Well, I'm leaving St. Louis and I'm heading back home to Chicago.
All right. Shout out to St. Louis. Ferguson just elected their first Black mayor. So that was oh, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I can't.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can now. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So, well, shout out to St. Louis and shout out to Ferguson for just electing their first Black mayor. That is a huge win. I knew you couldn't hear me because when I said that, you didn't respond. And I'm like, Yakia, no, that's a good time. So she would have definitely given me a yes. So I think, oh, I know what's going on. Turn off your Bluetooth.
Yeah. Okay. Turn off your Bluetooth. Yeah, you're right. That's smart.
Oh, she's gone. She's gonna be back though.
Everything went away. Okay,
there you are. Okay, now there's no echo, right?
I am having a very hard time. Oh my God.
Who is in the car with you giving you hell? Somebody is trolling Yakia in the car right now. You having a
There
hard
we
time.
go.
Oh,
There we
shit.
go. Okay, I got it together now. I promise.
Okay. Whoever's in that car with you is giving you a hard time and they need to stop.
That's my partner. Oh my God. She said
Your partner is like, why you having a hard time? Help Yakia. Help her. Okay, so first and foremost, let me tell you something, sis. That, you know, I think the beauty of community is that we lean on each other and we support each other, right? So I think that the truth of the matter is you can't be everywhere at all times and you can't be everybody for every situation. So though protesting is necessary, we also need you healthy. We also need you to be able to sustain, to be a part of this movement. So if protesting does not fit in with your ability to do that, there are so many other ways for you to still be a part of this movement. Like on a ground level, it becomes about information sharing, you know, it becomes about, you know, donating. It becomes about being a leader in your community in other ways, like that fit into your schedule. If you're doing Instacart and you're driving folks, it may end up being a part of like, you know, can I provide, like, can I help on my route? Bring stuff to people.
Spread information or bring stuff to people. Yes.
You know, like you got protesters on your route. It's like, okay, well, while I'm going to drop this off for these people, maybe I can bring some water. Maybe I can bring some milk for tear gas to help folks, you know? Maybe it becomes a part of like being in touch with organizations that are organizing on the ground and then being able to call on you like, hey, Yakia, if you're in the street right now, like, can you do a run for us? Can you drop this off for us? You know, but I think there's so much about innovation that happens right now and ways in which we can be helpful to each other. And I think a lot of us don't do that. Who is on the phone right now?
Oh, she's having a therapy call, so I actually feel bad for even impeding on that, but that's what she's doing.
Oh, okay. I was like, why can I hear a whole other conversation? And so I think that's really what it ends up being. This like finding ways to be innovative about that, and that alleviates you of the guilt that you're feeling. And I understand that guilt. I understand that guilt because like I'm here in Orlando. I don't feel safe going out protesting by myself. I don't know the lay of the land, you know, and so that is something that's been weighing on me, right? I do want to go back to LA and I will be shortly, but I have to be aware of like, I can't put myself in an unsafe situation and then me not be able to be helpful in the actual purpose that I'm here for.
Yes,
so how do I toggle that? And if you have any level of consciousness, it is a bit of a, you feel that conflict within you.
You feel that, yes.
But I just want to alleviate that from you and give you I hope a sense of peace of mind and knowing that like the answers are within you. You know, if you meditate on it and you consider just like, okay, the new landscape that you're in, because that's really what it is. We have to consider a new landscape. And it's like, okay, well, in this new landscape of space, where can I be helpful? And sometimes that may mean that you have to ask people around you for like ideas, right? Like that partner that's in the car, they may have some ideas on how, but just know that you being a foot on the ground in protest is not the only way that you can help be a foot on the ground for change.
Yes.
It's necessary. We need protesters, but you're not going out. It's not like you're like, I'm not going out to protest because I don't believe in it. Then I would be like, Yakia, let me tell you about yourself right quick. But that's not what you're saying, you know? So I think all of us can be real with ourselves and we know when we bullshitting.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Because
I know people that, yeah, like, you know, if you had told me like, I just don't feel like I have the right shoes for the march, I'd I'd be like, girl, Coretta and Diane and the girls was out there in a kitten heel and a pin curl, and you can't put a Jordan or a chancleta on to get this on the move. I need you to stop.
So I'm definitely that person too, because when we were packing for the trip, I was telling my partner, I'm like, so I don't have no shoes to match my protest outfits. And I was like, yeah, I hear how that sounds.
I mean, there is a fairness to that, because at the end of the day, like, Black people's style is a part of our revolution, and don't ever get it twisted. Whenever you see those photos, you see that they was out there in a look, okay? They was like, I'm going to the march. I'm going to the march. You got your march coat? I got this coat for the march, right? This is my purse for the march. You know, QEP and the boys was like, we not out here in no bullshit. We putting a beret on. Like, I'm about to have this beret and this black leather. Y'all don't understand. This turtleneck right here, so you see my face, right? So, and at the and truthfully, I feel like part of that is Black folks being like, you could take so much from us, but you ain't never gonna take our flavor. Never. You trying to keep us on this bus, but we gonna walk in style. Hallelujah. So,
Amen.
I hope does this help you?
Yes, ma'am. But while I have you, I just want to say how excited I am. I also got to talk to you during Smart, Funny, and Black in the Crib. So at this point, we're friends.
There.
So
you still can't call me Mans or Mandy. People be trying to call me Mans and Mandy, and I'm like, if we are not friends or family, there is no nickname. I am Amanda.
No, not at all. Well, thank you, Amanda.
Appreciate
nice
you, Yakia.
You. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You too, sis. So unfortunately, I wanted to get to 2 more questions, and it looks like that is not going to happen, because I want to have time to read through these different organizations and the work that they're doing in an effort to really hopefully, just encourage you all to reach out to these organizations and see how you can be of help and how you can galvanize your passion that you are feeling right now into actual action. There are people who have been at this work for years. So don't feel the weight of, damn, we got to figure this shit out. No, there's people who have been working towards figuring this out, and you can be of help in furthering their vision and, of course, refining their vision. So first off, Campaign Zero, the comprehensive platform of research-based policy solutions to end police brutality in America, a police reform campaign proposed by activists associated with Black Lives Matter. I'm also going to post this on my Instagram and in my Insta stories. And for those of you who are members of the SFB Society, I will post this in SFB Society under Blackcurate News. Black Voters Matter, also known as BVM. Increasing voter registration and turnout, advocating for policies to expand voting rights, access. Hold on one second, I just had a brainwave. Pardon me, I had a brainwave. Okay. Okay. Black Voters Matter. No. Okay. Black Voters Matter. Increasing voter registration and turnout, advocating for policies to expand voting rights, access, including expanded early voting, resisting voter ID, re-entry restoration of rights, and strengthening the Voting Rights Act. They also advocate for policies that intersect with race, gender, economic, and other aspects of equity. Black Futures Lab works with Black people to transform our communities. Shout out to Alicia Garza, the founder and creator of Black Futures Lab, as well as one of the co-creators of Black Lives Matter. They work locally, statewide, and nationally to build Black political power and changing the way that power operates. We have the Electoral Justice Project. The EJP is a project of movement for Black lives that seeks to continue a long legacy of social movements, fighting for the advancement of the rights of Black folks through electoral strategy. We have the NBJC, the National Black Justice Coalition, American civil rights organization serving primarily LGBT people. Since 2003, NBJC has collaborated with national civil rights groups and LGBTQIA+ organizations advocating for the unique challenges and needs of the African-American LGBTQIA+ community in the United States. And a side note, you can now redeem your Sephora Beauty Insider points as donations to the NBJC. Now, I know some of y'all are like, but what about my birthday gift at Sephora? You'll still have points left over. So just a note, you can redeem your Sephora Beauty Insider points as donations to the National Black Justice Coalition. Then we have the Movement for Black Lives, the M4BL, which seeks to reach millions, mobilize hundreds of thousands, and organize tens of thousands so that Black political power is a force able to influence national and local agendas in the direction of our shared vision for Black lives with a 5-year plan rooted in transformative goals. Color of Change, a progressive nonprofit civil rights advocacy organization in the United States, formed in 2005 in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The goal is to move decision makers in corporations and government to create a more human and less hostile work for Black people in America. And I have seen Color of Change implement that in spaces beyond government, but also in Hollywood, and seeing that their reach has to go beyond just politics, but also people that are working on the ground in other different spaces of influence like Hollywood and media. The Black Church PAC or PAC, a strategic initiative answering the call to elect leaders committed to ending mass incarceration, defending the right to vote, curbing gun violence, and representing the equitable treatment of Black and Brown communities. And then we have the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, also known as the NAACP LDF, America's premier legal organization fighting for racial justice. Through litigation, advocacy, and public education, the LDF seeks structural changes to expand democracy, eliminate disparities, and achieve racial justice in a society that fulfills the promise of equality for all Americans. I also want to add We Are. We Are is the organization started by my very good friend and brother, Brandon Victor Dixon, also known as Terry Silver on Power. And their organization uses the connective power of the arts to amplify voices that emphasize our shared humanity. I also want to add, I also want to add 2 more. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. I apologize for not having this prepared. Hold on. We also have Build Power, which my homeboy Kendrick, who is on Insecure with me, he is the founder. Build Power engages culture, education, and activism to build and train an inclusive community of entertainers and athletes to advance radical social change. They partner with grassroots causes and organizations, and the purpose of Build Power is to increase action and civic engagement with a prime focus on uplifting and protecting the most vulnerable by undoing systemic oppression. Then we have 1 more that I want to hip you all to. Give me 1 second. I gotta go in my DMs. And we also have, hold on, bear with me, y'all. Bear with me, I apologize. I should have had all of this prepared. But we're just moving at the speed of light these days, and so you're just trying your best. Let me do this way. And then we also have the People's Budget LA. Hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to type. Okay, then we have People's Budget LA. So they are all about working to get the city council to not, their constant work is on getting city council to defund the police. Unfortunately, that did not happen this go round. We learned that last night, all of the city council voted in favor of Eric Garcetti's bullshit ass plan to fund the police with like 54, 54% of the general fund of of Los Angeles, which is pure trash. And the reality is that when we make communities that have better services, when we make communities that are using money to make better communities, we understand that that comes by creating options for people to be their best selves, not for police to better police. So you can check them out at peoplesbudgetla.com. And I'm missing, let me just try and find Jesse Williams, his organization real quick. Pardon me, y'all. Pardon me. Yeah. Then we have the Jesse Williams Advancement Project, started by Jesse Williams. Jesse Williams is the finest actor with pretty eyes that we have seen on Grey's Anatomy. He has the Advancement Project, which is a next generation multiracial civil rights organization. They are rooted in the great human rights struggles for equality and justice. We exist to fulfill America's promise of a caring, inclusive, and just democracy. And I know that one of the ways they're doing that is by really at the helm of defunding the police. So I just want to thank all of you all for listening as I listed off these organizations that have been, on the ground and have been working. And I know there are a vast number of organizations that I didn't even list. And I know that there is a database of these organizations. And if there isn't, I would like someone to start it and to let me know so that I can continuously point people to it. At the next Smart, Funny, and Black, one of my goals is to be able to, within our vendor space on Smart, Funny, and Black in the Crib, to be able to provide people with not only Black-owned businesses that they can support, but also Black advancement projects, Black nonprofits that are working towards the goal of a Black advancement. So that's something I'm working on. And also just working on keeping my joy in this time. And this being able to do this with you all and being able to speak to you all has been such a key part of that and the key component to that. And I have to run because I have to go do an interview for Hollywood Unlocked. They're going to ask me about The Real, as they should. But I just want to thank you all for joining us today here at the Small Doses Forum, our first Small Doses Forum side of Uprising. Rebecca was going to come on because I had asked her to. I know she is very relieved right now that we are out of time. But Rebecca, don't think I'm not going to have you on the next one. Don't think, because Rebecca is a white ally, and so is Brendan. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if I like the word ally. Y'all are just people who are good people. And therefore, you're like, everybody should have the opportunity to be good people without the cops firing at them and killing them, without lack of resources, and without a government that gives a fuck about them. So thank you to my team, Rebecca and Brendan and Jana, for making this happen. Thank you to you all for making this happen, because really it could have been two people and then that wouldn't have really been that much of a point. Remember, Small Doses, my podcast, you can listen to it everywhere pods are casted. We are every week. And I want to let you all know about SFB Society, which is my new app that was created to be a safe space for you to be your whole Black selves. We do welcome allies as long as you know your place and understand that it is not about centering you. It is about centering our voices in change. So I just wanted to make somewhere where we can fight the power and fight for our joy at the same time. So shout out to y'all. Please stay safe. Please stay strong. Please stay Black. And know that right now we may not have all the answers, but we have to remember that the questions that are being asked and the change that needs to be made, unfortunately, these people have put a lot of work into it. And so now we are going to put a lot of work into shifting it. These devils will be defeated. Remember, we are each other's business. When we lift each other up, remember, we are each other's business. When we look out for each other, we lift each other up. Find any joke necessary. Have a good one, y'all.